Welcome, welcome. I'm John. It's the 4th of July. Grill is hot, pool is open. Hot dogs, hamburgers, chips, maybe some fries. Uncle Steve brought over the potato salad. Your neighbor just showed up with a six-pack. Kids are running around with popsicle stains on their shirts. And at some point, someone's going to cut into an apple pie. This is the most American day of the year. And I'm here to tell you what wine belongs at this party. Not fancy wine, not wine that requires a lecture, not wine that's afraid to be outside in the heat next to a grill. I'm talking about the fun, easy, cold, delicious wine that pairs with hot dogs and hamburgers and everything else on the table, including the chaos. Here's how to throw a 4th of July wine party. American wines, because it's the 4th, no snobs allowed. All right, first thing to understand, a 4th of July barbecue, it's not a dinner party. At a dinner party, you pair a specific wine with a specific course. At a backyard barbecue, everyone is eating different things at different times. The food is casual, the weather's hot, and half the crowd has a kid on their hip. The wine strategy is completely different. You're not pairing course by course. You're building a lineup. So this is like a roster of wines that cover every situation. The person who just walked in wants something cold. The person standing at the grill who wants a red. The person who doesn't normally drink wine and needs some gateway. And the moment after the fireworks when someone finally cuts into that pie. And the single most important thing I can tell you, everything needs to be cold. I mean everything. The whites need to be cold. The rosé needs to be cold. And yes, the reds too. In July, in the sun, at an outdoor party, a room temperature red wine tastes like warm soup. Chill your reds. 20 minutes in a cooler or an ice bucket or the fridge. You want them cool to the touch, not cold, just slightly below what you'd normally serve. And this one adjustment is going to change everything for you. Now here's the other rule. Keep it American. It's Independence Day. We're drinking American wine. And here's the thing that people don't realize. American wine isn't just Napa Cabernet. We make incredible wine in every single one of the 50 states, at every price point, in every style. In this is a celebration of that. When your guests walk in on the 4th of July, they are hot, they're festive, and they want something cold in their hand right now. You have two great options. Option 1, American sparkling wine. And I don't mean the cheap, headache-inducing stuff. I mean real sparkling wine from producers who take it seriously. Gruet from New Mexico makes a brut that regularly beats champagne in blind tastings and costs $12 to $15. Roederer Estate in Anderson Valley, California, makes one of the best sparklings in the world. Their brut, their basic entry level is about $25. It is spectacular. Schramsberg from Napa has been making sparkling wine since 1965. It was actually served at Nixon's historic toast in Beijing. These are legitimate wines. Option 2. And this is my go-to for a barbecue, dry rosé. A cold glass of American rosé on a hot July afternoon is one of the best things in the world. And here's my controversial take. At a backyard party, it's completely fine to pour rosé over ice. I know that's going to make some people twitch. But you're outside, it's 90 degrees, the ice keeps it cold, and it stretches it a little bit. I promise you, nobody at the party is going to complain. Look for rosé from Provence-style California producers or from the Willamette Valley in Oregon. Now let's talk about the grill. Hot dogs and hamburgers are smoky, salty, charred, and fatty. They're not delicate, and the wine shouldn't be delicate either. So this is Zinfandel category. California Zinfandel is the most American red grape there is. It is bold, fruity, it's a little bit wild, and it has enough structure to stand up to a burger, but not so much tannin that it's fighting the hot dog. It's kind of the wine equivalent of the grill itself. It's smoky, confident, unpretentious. Sonoma and Lodi both make excellent Zinfandels in the $12 to $25 range. But if Zinfandel just isn't your thing, go with Petite Sirah. This is another California staple, inky and dark and absolutely bulletproof with grilled meat. Or do Washington State Syrah. The Pacific Northwest makes Syrah that's smoky and peppery and born for this moment. Or if you still want something lighter but still red, a Pinot Noir from Oregon or the Sonoma coast, served cool. It won't overpower a hot dog, and it's versatile enough to handle everything else on the table. And don't forget, chill those reds. You're drinking these outside in July. Slightly cool is perfect. At every 4th of July party, there's someone who says, I don't really drink wine. And at most parties, that person just grabs a beer. But this is your chance to convert them gently. No pressure, okay? The wine for this person is slightly sweet, slightly fizzy, and served ice cold. Moscato d'Asti. All right, that's Italian. So let me give you the American equivalent. A Riesling from Finger Lakes in New York. Slightly off dry with a touch of sweetness and low alcohol. Or a sparkling rosé from California. So these are really gateway wines. They're friendly and they're approachable and they just taste like summer. Here's the other move. Wine spritzers. Pour some white wine or rosé over ice and then add some sparkling water and a squeeze of lime. It's really refreshing and it's super low commitment. And it's the same type of drink that someone who came to the party planning to drink a White Claw will actually enjoy. Don't be a snob about this, not on this holiday. The goal is to get people interested, not to impress them with your knowledge. Okay? And here's one more option that I think at least more wine people should embrace. Canned wine. There are some really good, genuinely good canned wines right now. Sparkling rosés and Sauvignon Blancs and even Pinot Noirs. For a pool party where glass is not practical, canned wine is the answer. You're just not going to bring your Riedel stem poolside. A can of sparkling rosé and a koozie, now that's 4th of July power. All right, a quick note on fries and chips because they'll be everywhere at this party. Salty, crunchy, greasy, these are actually great qualities to match with wine. Salt loves acidity. So anything crisp and high acid, so Sauvignon Blanc, dry Riesling, sparkling wines, is going to sing with a handful of chips or a pile of fries. The acidity cuts the grease, the salt amplifies the fruit in the wine, and suddenly you're having a really good pairing moment with a bowl of Lay's potato chips. Do not overthink of this. A cold glass of anything white or sparkling next to the bowl of chips is a perfect combo. The chips, they don't need a special wine. They just need a cold one. The burgers are gone, the sun is going down, and somebody just put an apple pie on the table, and this is the moment. Apple pie and wine, it is one of the great American pairings, and almost nobody does it. And here's the rule from the dinner party episode. The wine must be sweeter than the dessert. Apple pie is sweet, cinnamony, buttery, with all that caramelized edge. You need a wine with enough sweetness to stand up to it. My first pick, a late harvest Riesling from the Finger Lakes, or from Washington State. It's honeyed, it's got notes of baked apple and apricot. It's got a bright acidity to keep it from being kind of cloying. It's literally the apple pie of wines meeting apple pie of desserts. If you can find this one, this is the pairing that will make people stop and say, wait, what's this? Here's my second pick. And if you really, really want to be a hero, you're going to find an American ice wine. So Michigan, Finger Lakes, and parts of Oregon make ice wine from grapes that are frozen on the vine. They're intensely sweet, intensely concentrated, and they are stunning with apple pie. It's a little bit more expensive. It's a little bit harder to find, but if you pull this one off, you've won 4th of July. And finally, my crowd-friendly pick, a sparkling Moscato from California. It's fun, it's fizzy, it's sweet, and it's cheap. And when you pour it next to the slice of pie while the fireworks are starting, nobody in the world is going to say, this really isn't the right kind of wine. How much to buy for a 4th of July barbecue? You just need to plan differently than for a dinner party. But first of all, not everybody's drinking wine. Some people are on beer, on soda, kids are on lemonade. But for the wine drinkers, figure a half a bottle per person over the course of the party. So if you got 20 people and 10 of them are wine drinkers, that's 5 bottles. Now round up to 7 or 8 because it's a party and you want variety. So a couple of sparklings or rosés, a couple of whites, a couple of reds, and 1 dessert wine. Keep everything cold. I'll say this again. The most important thing that you can do is to keep the wine cold. A cooler full of ice is your best friend. Whites and rosés go in the cooler, they stay there. Reds go in the cooler about 20 minutes before you pour, then they could come out. Those can also go in the refrigerator. If you don't have enough cooler space, pro tip, garbage can. By the way, clean garbage can. full of ice and water. It's a little bit ugly, but it totally works, and you could fit a dozen bottles in there. Finally, the glassware. Keep it real. This is a backyard barbecue. You do not need proper wine glasses. If you have them, you want to use them, great, it's allowed. But plastic tumblers work fine. Solo cups work fine. If there's a pool, glass is a hard no. The wine doesn't know what vessel it's in. Pour it into something that's safe and available. But if you want just one little small upgrade to make a big difference, the clear little plastic stemless wine glasses they sell in packs of 20 at Target or at Costco. They look nice, they're disposable, and they're pool safe. And it's only a couple bucks for the whole pack. Finally, backup plan. Just have more than you need. And just keep a case of something crowd-friendly and reserve that you can always break out if the party runs long or more people show up than expected. A case of canned sparkling rosé in the garage is kind of cheap insurance. Nobody has ever complained, this party had too much wine, so have some backups. I do want to say something about why I think this episode matters. It's actually not about the wine at all. The 4th of July is one of the only days left in American life where everybody, regardless of background in politics and income and whatever, does the same thing. You go to a backyard and you eat grilled food and you watch fireworks and you spend time with people you care about. It is the most democratic holiday we have, and wine should totally be part of that. And it's not because it's fancy. It's because wine is social. A bottle of wine is an invitation to slow down for 10 minutes, to pour for someone else before you pour for yourself, to taste something and to turn to the person next to you and say, hey, what do you think? And that's always been what wine has been about. It's not about the label or the score or the price. It's about the moment. So put a bottle of Zinfandel on the table next to the ketchup and pour some rosé over ice for your sister who says she doesn't like wine, and pop some bubbles when the fireworks start. And don't forget that late harvest Riesling with the pie. Here's your 4th of July shopping list. All American, all under $20 a bottle. Sparkling, Gruet Brut from New Mexico, $12 to $15. It's legitimately world class. Rosé, any dry rosé from California or Oregon. Chill it, pour it over ice if you want, $10 to $15. The white, Finger Lakes Riesling from New York. Dry or slightly off dry. It's perfect with chips, fries, and it's really good for the person who doesn't usually drink wine, $12 to $18. Reds, Sonoma or Lodi Zinfandel. It is the ultimate burger wine, $12 to $20. Dessert, a late harvest Riesling or a sparkling Moscato from California. It's the apple pie wine, $8 to $15 for a half a bottle, or just buy the full one. And that's 5 wines. All American, all cold, and all ready for the party. Happy 4th! Go light something on fire and open something good.